Hey everyone, welcome back to Fighting Spirit Film Festival. We have a special guest for you today. Please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Sherice Griffiths and I'm a writer-director.
Can you describe yourself in three fictional characters?
I can, yes. I had to think about this for a little bit. But my first one would be Goku from Dragon
Mhm.
Ball Z. I watched Dragon Ball Z growing up from like when I was really small. And I've always liked Goku's sort of like resilient spirit and sort of his childlike qualities. And yeah, I've just kind of embodied that in my life as well. Flint Lockwood from Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs. I see him as a very, he's kind of misunderstood. He's this kind of creative guy who's kind of a bit on the edge of society. So I've kind of also kind of associated myself with him. A bit of an outsider. And also the dog from Up, Doug. I also
Mhm.
kind of feel like I'm very much like Doug. On set, I'm definitely like an excitable Labrador. Kind of easily distracted at times. If I see a squirrel, I'm definitely there, just like a squirrel, but definitely very curious and very loyal. So those would be my three, I think.
When did you know that you wanted to pursue filmmaking?
So for me, I've always kind of had a sort of draw to filmmaking. So my nan was actually a filmmaker, not
Ooh.
like a professional filmmaker. She basically just made like little sketches on like a little handy cam recorder. And one of my first memories is being in one of those little sketches where my uncle came out of like a holiday camper van with a vampire mask on, and I was terrified. So yeah, that was quite an experience, and it's something that I still remember to this day. And when she passed away, I inherited her camera, so I would kind of spend my weekends and my school holidays making these silly little sketches as well with my cousin. And yeah, just kind of making films. And for me, it's just always been something I want to do.
Do you want to develop more of the sketches that she made?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of got lost a long time ago, so I kind of only have my memories of things. I don't know why she kind of did it, so I kind of wished that at the time I'd maybe found out a little bit more about what was her sort of her drive and what her goal were to do with them. But yeah, no, it's definitely something I think about sometimes.
Can you tell us about Roguish Films, the production company you founded?
Yes, I can indeed. So Roguish Films is my production company. And I would say we kind of specialize in like comedy and action. That's kind of like the hybrid blend of films I tend to make. It's kind of a niche that I've just sort of developed over the years. It's kind of what I enjoy most about filmmaking, is working on stunts. I come from a martial arts background, so I'm always trying to blend my two like favorite things together. And the comedy side of things, I've just found I can't get away from comedy. Whatever I'm doing, comedy finds a way in there. So I was just like, well, I'm going to lean into this, and this is going to be kind of my vibe is the comedy action space.
How would you describe your filmmaking style?
Well, I'm definitely influenced by directors like Quentin Tarantino, Taika Waititi. So it's kind of like a fun, playful style. I would say I don't tend to have like a specific thing that I always tend to do. It tends to be, if it's fast-paced action, I kind of figure out fun new ways of doing things. I always want to do something different in every film I make. But definitely there's always going to be little things that I kind of steal from like Naked Gun, where you kind of have like the background comedy and stuff like that. I quite like those little physical moments that you don't necessarily notice until you watch it like maybe a second time. But there's those moments within a lot of things I do.
What inspired you to make The Chef?
So The Chef was a 48-hour film competition film. So I kind of came up with the idea based on the location. So prior to doing the competition, I had a location that we could use. We had it for 4 hours. And I was like, right, I'm going to set it here. Whatever the brief is, it will be kind of in a kitchen. So I knew that much. And then we got the brief through, and then I fit it into that location and with the actors we had. So that was kind of like the main inspiration was just kind of like, what can we do in a very short amount of time in a very contained space?
How did you do the casting?
So for the casting, I worked very closely with my stunt coordinator, Ronan Trainer, who's been a long-standing friend of mine. And he works with a lot of stunt actors. And it was kind of a case of going, right, we've got this weekend, we're going to do this 48-hour film contest. Can you see who you've got who's available and who might be up for doing some cool stunt stuff? He did a little call out to his network, put me in touch with the guys who ended up working with in the end. And yeah, that's how we did it.
And how did you collaborate with Ronan Trainer on the fight sequences? How are they designed?
So because we didn't have a huge amount of time, Ronin had kind of planned a few things prior to the 48 hour. So he'd kind of worked with the actors, being like, okay, they're good with like the knife stuff, good with like falls and sort of like hits and things like that. So he'd done a little bit of that sort of like pre the shoot. And then when we got into the space, obviously everything has to change and adapt to fit the space that we're in. So we kind of worked on the blocking. He would kind of suggest things, and then I'd be like, okay, that's cool, but can we now throw someone across the table? Because that would be really cool as a shot. And then he would kind of work out how we would do that safely. So it's definitely a sort of a back and forth, and I would just come up with crazy ideas and be like, why don't we do this? And then she flips and rolls out, and then she comes out at him with the knife, and we do this, and he then sort of translates my ridiculous ideas and makes them safe and yeah, into a way that works on film.
What was the best part of filming The Chef?
I think the best part was probably, I think just the team generally. I think it's great working with Ronan. It's really cool working with I worked with the DOP who I've worked with before. The cast as well. I hadn't worked with these particular group of actors before, so kind of getting on set and kind of seeing their particular skills. Like Martha's really good at like flicking a knife around. So just kind of seeing what they all brought to their characters really, and trying to use what they already had with their physicalities to yeah, sort of bring the characters to life a little bit more.
What was the most challenging part of filming The Chef?
So the most challenging part was that we had to do it in 4 hours. So it's not a huge amount of time. Obviously, that included getting all the equipment in. And there was a wedding actually using that kitchen 4 hours later. So we had to be out on time. So it's quite a daunting sort of process. And one of the things about Ronan is he likes to go big with stunts and he likes to put a lot of things into it, which means obviously it looks cool, but it means there's more to film. So we had like different phases of the fight where we're like, right, now we're over here, now we're on the table, and now we've killed someone, now we've got to do this. So it was kind of just trying to get everything done, really. It's always time, isn't it? Time is the enemy of filmmakers, but we got there. We got there in the end. So
How did the 48 hours to write, film, and edit impact shooting?
so yeah, it was an interesting one. I think the writing part wasn't too bad, because I had the location in mind. We got the prompts, obviously, like as soon as it starts, you get the prompts. So the prompts were a hairdryer and 99%. So we had to use that in the dialogue. So I kind of wrote that in. And then I was like, okay, we're in a kitchen, there's a hairdryer. That was quite a tricky one to figure out because I was like, what can you be doing in a kitchen with a hairdryer? And then I worked out you can actually heat chocolate and melt chocolate that way. And apparently that's what professional chefs do. So I was like, brilliant, we've got the hairdryer. So I'd say that was definitely a little bit tricky to work out, but I knew what kind of space we were working with, which really helps. I work quite well when there's like constraints, so it meant I could write definitely more efficiently and effectively. But yeah, no, it was definitely a challenge.
What was your favorite part about the final edit?
I think my favorite part is it's always when you add the sound and when you add the music and it all starts coming together. I think especially when you're watching a fight, you can kind of be like, it's kind of working. That shot, you could kind of that I believe that maybe hits, and that's kind of a miss. So it's kind of like when you're kind of editing a fight, it's always that moment when you bring the sound effects in, you're like, oh, now it's starting to feel like a fight. You're starting to get more the energy and you're getting the pacing. And then you add a cool track as well, and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is really cool actually. So for me, it's definitely when you see the whole thing come together, you've added those extra details, and it's like, okay, no, it looks good in the end.
How was the editing process?
It was intense, very intense. I think we were editing right up to like the last 5 minutes that we could submit, so it was very yeah, it was a bit touch and go, and there was definitely more we wanted to do in terms of like adding sound. So it did make us very economical with what we were doing. We're like, right, that's okay enough for that sound, and that's probably okay for this. If we had more time, then definitely we would have maybe changed up some of the music and tried some other things. But we had to be very kind of ruthless with the edit, really, and just be like, right, if it doesn't work, cut it. So if anything, it's kind of one of those things that forces you to not spend too long looking at something. It's like, right, that's it. Here are all the pieces. That's good. Right, go.
I feel like that just makes you so much better at like decision making.
Yeah,
No thinking, no ruminating, just do it.
exactly. You can't be like, oh, let's just try this different way. You have to be like, no, no, that's this now. Now we have to move on. Yeah, absolutely.
What was the best feedback you received for the film?
Best feedback I received for the film. It's probably from the stunt coordinator, to be honest, because I think, when you shoot something like this, he couldn't really see what we were filming at the time because we were trying to be like loose and we had 4 hours. So when he kind of saw it all come together, he's like, no, this is actually really good. So to impress him, I'm like, this is good. We've done a good job at filming it. But yeah, we've had lots of good feedback, which has been really cool. Just hearing people just saying that they've enjoyed it. And when it's something you've made in such a short space of time, just, especially getting it to play at, fighting spirit, it's incredible and it feels amazing just to get like that recognition that we've actually achieved something really cool.
And do you have any upcoming projects that you can tell us about?
I do indeed. So my next project is a micro budget feature film that I'm working on called Damaged Goods. We're actually shooting it in May, so it's coming up very quick. I'm just looking at my calendar now, so it's less than a month away. And it's a comedy action film, and it's a little bit like Thelma and Louise-esque, this sort of like buddy comedy about this girl who kills her fiance and calls in her best friend to help her get rid of the body. These two middle class girls then go off to try and get rid of the body. They don't really know what they're doing. They end up sort of roped into this sort of drug dealer situation, end up racking up a bit of a body count, and causing chaos, really. So it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm very excited about it.
That's really cool. Now, time for speed round. So, for this, you pick one film per question,
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
and you've got 10 seconds to answer each one.
No pressure then. Okay.
What was the last film you watched?
Probably everything everywhere all at once.
What film has the best soundtrack?
I want to say Baby Driver. Yeah, Baby Driver.
What underrated film do you think deserves more attention?
Oh gosh. Oh, 10 seconds. Underrated film. Um, Swiss Army Man. I think that was really underrated. I'm really on the Daniels at the moment just for research. So yeah, that's kind of what's in my head.
What is the best film to watch on an airplane?
Best film to watch on an airplane. How about Airplane? I think that would be a great plane film
And which cinematic universe would you like to live in?
to live in. Oh, probably Marvel, I guess, just because you've got the multiverse, so you could kind of go anywhere with it.
Well, thank you very much. Thank
So
you
thank you.
for talking with us today.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.